There's a place I'll always cherish neath the blue Atlantic skies, where the shores down in Cape Breton bids the golden sun to rise, and the fragrance of the apple blossoms praise the dew-kissed lawn, back in dear old Nova Scotia, a place where
Guys, welcome back to All Outdoors Nova Scotia. This is another segment. I worked this morning, so I figured it's a little cloudy and gray, so I wanted to start getting something done on the four-wheeler, get it ready for hunting season. So I bought a second-hand start button, kill switch, the whole kit and caboodle on Facebook, actually, from a buddy of mine. And now I've got that wired up, and I have wired up the relay, which was giving me trouble. That's why it wouldn't start with the push button, like off the button, and it was just, that's why it wouldn't start for him, the guy I bought it from, in pieces, because he had tore it all apart trying to find out what was wrong with it. Originally he had the neutral safety switch wired up backwards. He had it hooked to power instead of ground, so it wouldn't function properly, and then he started cutting wires and tore the plastic all out of it, and like just jumbled up mess. I bought it in a box, and so after a couple hours of getting it home, I did get it to roll over and start and run, but that's as far as it got. I ended up moving. We bought the house, and it's kind of just sat idle for now because it's been on the back burner. But today, well, the last week I've been buying pieces because I go on vacation next Friday, and one of my main projects is to get this thing ready to rock and roll. So I had wired up the relay correctly, found the problem with the neutral safety switch, fixed that, hooked up the new switch, and this is the result. I have my lawnmower battery in here just to for test purposes, but the key is on. I now have it wired so it'll start off the button. That's step number one. Step number two is get this new carburetor that I bought right there in there where it belongs. The carburetor I bought is slightly bigger than the old one, so it's going to take some finesse. I actually have to put the cables in, hooked it all up, put the plate on it, and then put it in, because if not, I can't get by this part of the frame to put the plate in. So that's the next step. Thanks for watching. Guys, also, I should mention, I haven't yet, I don't think I've mentioned it in any of my videos. My four-wheeler happens to be a 1999 Suzuki King Quad 300. I picked it up off of a local ad site. I'll show you pictures of it in the truck when I picked it up, and you'll understand. When I say I picked it up in a box, we loaded it in the back of the half-ton or a quarter-ton truck in pieces. The fenders were tied up. Like, there's boxes of parts. This tote's full of extra parts. This tote's got parts in it and some of these aren't extra, some of them go on the bike. Like, it's just pieces. He tore it apart. He put a new side case seal on and new rings in it, and then when he went to put it back together, he couldn't get it started. He immediately tore it back apart, trying to figure out things. He's cut wires, as you can see, butchered the kill switch, so I had to buy a completely new one. But all it turned out to be was this lone little wire right here. He had hooked to a power wire over here instead of the ground, which runs the neutral safety switch, which won't let it start without it, because it's a ground. The neutral safety switch grounds out the engine so it'll start. I've got this far, so now I can start it up with, I could get it to roll over with the neutral safe or with the key. Then fortunately he didn't hurt the neutral safety switch any, but had he, I would have just run a bypass, and because it's not worth buying a new neutral safety switch for the price of what they cost. But this tire has been plugged and will not hold air. It's flat. This tire has been plugged and will not hold air. It's flat. I have new inner tubes over there for both these tires. This one needs, the rear is the brake. It needs the brake put in. This one has a bad wheel bearing. As you can see clearly, it should not wiggle like that. I have new wheel bearings for there, and I'm going to check to see if it needs brakes, because that's also the front brake wheel. I haven't bought the brakes for it yet. I may have to if I don't have them for the front. But it's, like I said, in pieces. I bought the new carburetor because I went and pulled the old carburetor off. After I did get it running the first time, it didn't run well. The carburetor was rough. He told me it just needed a cleaning. Well, I took the carburetor out to clean it and couldn't get it apart because he stripped almost all the bolts, broke a few off. It just was not salvageable. It's actually over here laying in a box right there. I just didn't bother. I got a good deal on this one online, so I'm going to make it work. It should fit in there fine. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but I can make it work. I got a new fuel filter for it, and I'm going to reroute the lines. My next step is now to get the carburetor in, because once the carburetor's in, I can test fire it, make sure it runs. I can't leave it run long, because as you may or may not know, with the exhaust unhooked, you can't run these little engines very long or they'll burn out a valve. But I can fire it up, make sure it's going to start properly. Then I'm going to have to hook up the exhaust, put the breather box back in where it belongs, and then it's to tackle this mess of the plastics. He's got bolts broke off, as you can see right there. I'm going to have to get that out, figure out which bolts go where, and just put it all back together. If I can't figure out where the bolts go, I may have to improvise and put new bolts in and drill holes. But it's going to be a battle. The plastic is in rough shape, but it is salvageable. It's got a few cracks. The back is the worst. It's all wired up there. I'm going to see if I can repair it with with some pop rivets and tin, and then maybe fiberglass it. And I got a buddy, Hunting 902. I don't know if you saw any of his videos, but he's got one where he camoed his Ford Escape. I'm tempted to maybe attempt that myself on the plastics and give it a good camo job, along with the seat box, which I have over here, which I have to fix. This lock is broke off. This is just a cord, so I'm going to put a lock mechanism on the front of it, just some padlocks set up so they stay closed. I may camo that, and the fenders, I'm going to paint the rims black to match, just so that the yellow doesn't stand out so much. And then I'm going to give some of the racking, it's kind of dinged up bad, so I'm going to give it a coat of black, just gloss or flat black. But this is the Project Beast. My main concern right now is just to get it up and running and make sure that it will haul itself, get the tires fixed, so I can, at least then I can start it up, do some yard work with it, run up over the hill to check my cam. If I happen to shoot a deer this fall, I can have it to get it back down. But yeah, so this is the Beast, a 1999 Suzuki King Quad 300. It's a project bike for sure. But if you like my videos, hit like and subscribe.
There's a place I'll always cherish 'neath the blue Atlantic skies, where the shores down in Cape Breton bids the golden sun to rise, and the fragrance of the apple blossoms sprays the dew-kissed lawn, back in dear old Nova Scotia.